Well, thank you for joining me today. And today, I'm going to be tapping back in with the Book of Love. And we're going to be reading from the chapter on the proper way to sacrifice. Now, of course, you hear all in the news and about how celebrities sacrifice their family members and friends and so on to become famous or even keep becoming more famous or whatever the case may be. But this is a very real thing, and it's not just with celebrities. So regular people do this as well all the time. And this is something that's been done for a very long time. And back in the days, the Babylonian creation tales, that's where you can go back to the Atrahasis and look at tablet one in the Atrahasis. They'll talk about how when they were creating basically mankind, so when they first came to earth and how they were basically digging for gold, the gods were digging for the gold first, then that's how they created man. And basically after they were been digging for a few thousand years, and they done had the slaves basically digging for gold all this time and pushing them no harder than what they knew they could go just for the gold, right? So they were building up a lot of negative karma till they revolted. So basically what they came up with was, they were talking about in Tablet 1 how they conduct a water purification, and one of the gods will be slain, aka sacrificed, and thus the gods will be cleansed through the holy ablutions. So basically, through that purification of the land and the sacrificing of that god, what they were doing, and you can read they'll go into it if you read the story. Basically, you're putting all of your sins on that one God is what they're doing. So they're putting all of their sins so they can just get a fresh start. Then they sacrifice that God. All of the sins die with that God. So whatever they were guilty of would die with that, because it's the energy. They transfer all that energy into that one God, and then they sacrifice them, and all of that energy dies with them, and they get a fresh start. So they don't receive any karma for that. That's the purpose of doing it that way. So what is sacrifice? So if you look up sacrifice in a dictionary, it basically comes up as an act of slaughtering an animal or a person or surrendering the possession as an offering to God or to a divine or supernatural figure. So basically, that's what, when they're sacrificing, that's what they're doing, to a supernatural figure or a divine being. So a spirit, someone in the spirit realm. So, and as I said in a previous video, a daemon. So that's why it's in a daemon, it's just from positive entities all the way down to negative entities. So you got them both, everything, darkness and light, everything exists within that. So what is a possession then? So it says surrendering a possession as an offering. So what is a possession? A possession is the state of having, owning, or controlling something. That's it. Having, owning, or controlling something. So that's it. That's what it just said. Surrendering a possession as an offering. A possession. So, with knowing that, the thing you possess that garners the most power is your energy, your time, your energy, right? So your focus. So with knowing that, I thought, okay, how can I sacrifice the right way? So the right way for me was sacrificing those things that was pulling my energy. That's what I sacrificed. So for me, that meant when I got on this journey and around 2000, well, let's say around 2000, 2020, I want to say. 2020 is that's when I got rid of all social media sites. I haven't been on any social media sites except for YouTube since 2020. In that time frame, I cut out junk food. So all kinds of junk and the sodas and the snacks and the candies and the gummy bears. You used to love all that stuff. Cut that stuff out. The meat. So pretty much I was always a meat eater. And chicken, pork, whatever, steak, everything. So it didn't matter. So cut that out. Went mostly pescatarian, did the vegan thing for a little bit. But mostly pescatarian, if anything, but cut that out. Following all the TV shows, hitting the club up every weekend, drinking while up in the club on the weekends, of course. And of course, what I'm going to the club for? The women. So cutting out the women. So that was definitely a hard vice to cut out, but I know that is also a huge contributor of pulling energy because I'm putting my focus in that. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep my energy and focus on growth, focus on inside. So also cut out the tube. So no wrestling with the bald head champ. Had to cut that out too. So all energy. This is all energy that's being conserved, and just everything that I'm consuming, I was paying attention to. So the type of music that I was listening to. So all of this by doing all this, it just made me go deeper and deeper. So just getting rid of all the bad habits, fixed mindset, getting rid of the older versions that no longer serve, sacrificing all of these different things that were not for me. That is a sacrifice. Now, doing it this way, yes, of course, this takes time. However, you will have a better outcome. You're going to be a lot lighter. You're going to feel better about it. So when I started sacrificing all of these different things, I started feeling a lot better. And then it had I had no choice but to focus on the relationships that were in my life. So once I did that, that made me see what relationships I was sacrificing myself to. So when I basically, and that was easy to see when I started interacting with people, how I felt after that interaction. Or when I was speaking with certain individuals in my family, and I know they were wrong, but I wasn't saying anything because I didn't want to hurt their feelings. At least that's what I was telling myself in my mind. But that is sacrificing myself to an individual. So by doing that, I'm preventing them from growing. And at the same time, I'm sacrificing myself, AKA giving my energy away. And I could feel it. Like in these interactions, I could feel it. Because there's a difference when you start paying attention to your energy that is within your body. So by doing that, I had to remove myself from these situations, from these relationships, because if you're willing to grow, which I was trying to assist a lot of people as I'm finding out this information and growing and seeing how I'm feeling better. And I tried to tell it to the loved ones in my life, but they didn't want to grow. So I had no choice but to love them from a distance, because this is now affecting my energy, because now I live from the soul. I don't live from the ego, the personality. I'm living for the soul. So if I'm living from the soul, I am making spiritual choices. So it's nothing personal to anyone or anything, but I'm living from my soul. So I can't sacrifice myself to anything outside of myself. Sacrifice myself to anything outside of myself is basically turning my back on truth. And if I turn my back on truth, I'm turning my back on the divine, on God. And that is something that I just cannot do. So basically, what this is saying is I equate this to basically the Stanford marshmallow experiment. If you look up that experiment, it was an experiment back in the 1970s. So I'm gonna give you just a short snippet of it. Basically, they gathered a bunch of kids and they separated these kids, put them in different rooms, and they offered them a marshmallow. And they said, hey, we're gonna give you this marshmallow now. And if you wait, when leave the room, come back, whatever time they gave them. If you wait, when I come back, if the marshmallow's still here, I'll give you a second marshmallow. So they did their experiment, and of course, the majority of the kids ate the marshmallow right away. And then those that didn't, they got the second marshmallow. So the second marshmallow basically was representing delayed gratification. And then they actually followed those kids who waited for the second marshmallow, and those kids typically did better in life. So that is telling you right there, yes, this is the exact same thing with sacrificing. So you can get your marshmallow now. Sure, that's the outside sacrifice. Doing it like how others do it. You want to sacrifice someone you love and this, that, and the other for temporary gains and money and fame and all these different things that are not real. That's taking the marshmallow now. Or you can wait and do the work yourself and let these things be attracted to you. And you feel good about yourself. To me, that sounds like a better option. So that was a road I took. So if there's something I want, I have no problem working for it because I believe in myself. And for me personally, if you sacrifice someone else, like you don't believe in yourself and you're just greedy, but you don't believe in yourself. Like I see no reason to sacrifice anyone because I believe in myself. Anything I want, if I put my focus on, I will achieve. It's literally just that simple for me. And that reminds me of that Michael Jordan quote. Some people want it to happen. Some people wish it would happen. And others make it happen. And it says it itself right there. Like, you want it, make it happen. But people want let me take a quick peel and it do all the work. That's just not reality. But I'm going to leave that there. And as always, if you got anything out of this message, I ask that you go ahead and hit the like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next message.